The Obey 10F, aka the Audi R8. I created this car not too long ago, last week, in a video. I showed you guys my top 10 Benny's vehicles. And by the sounds of it from the comments, the favorite vehicle I made was this one right here, the Benny's. Yeah, well, it is the Benny's Obey 10F. Now, don't get me wrong, this thing, if you watch the video, surprised me too. I surprised myself. I think this car is absolutely drop-dead gorgeous. It surprised me quite a bit. But one of the things a lot of people said is they wanted to recreate it themselves. They wanted to build that same car for themselves. And could I do a video showcasing what I did to that vehicle? And luckily for you, I actually recorded while I was doing that. I wasn't talking, but I did record while I did that entire thing. So what we're going to do in today's video is just walk you through the 10F build that I did. So if you guys want to recreate it for yourself, so let's jump into it. All right, and here we are, ladies and gentlemen. So the base cost of this vehicle is just about 1.7 million, and upgrading it to Benny's, 575,000. All right, so this is what I said when we were bringing it into Benny's. Let's take a little listen, and let's see what it looks like once we upgrade it. And just a big, fat, wide body. It's kind of like the Liberty kit is what we put on this thing. We're going to lower it because this thing definitely needs lowering. All right, let's see what I end up with this thing. Okay, so first things first, we went all the way for the most expensive armor. This build did cost, the full build for this was 415,000. So next up, we get the most expensive brakes, because obviously, if you're going to be fully upgrading one of these things, why not do everything? And this is where, obviously, if you want to copy the exact same build that I did, I went through a few different options. I was looking around, and I actually, originally, I had mentioned it in the video, so you can see there's the Forge Super Splitter. Originally, I wanted to make this baby blue with a white accent, but I just went through the blues, and I really didn't like it at all. So we ended up going for, which one was it? I think it was the most expensive, the Forged Exposed Diffuser right here. Let's see if that's what we go for. And yeah, of course it is. All right, next up, I think, you know, in this one, I ended up going with a lot of Forged Carbon Fiber. I love Forged Carbon Fiber, but sometimes I don't like it. But it just kind of worked with this build. So you can see we went for the dual right there. And then on the back, obviously, level 4 upgrade for the EMS. And you can hear that thing. It sounds absolutely drop-dead gorgeous. So next up for the exhaust, this is where I was a little bit like, I originally didn't like the idea of exposed rear end. I just didn't think, in real life, I would never do it. But for some reason with this car, I was like, we're just going to make it a beast. So the carbon oval turbos is what we went with here. I just thought it looked better. We don't do any explosives because I just don't ever really need them. And I didn't go for any exposed radiator or anything like that because I think it just looked better stock. I like the big, you know, just the black big mouth this thing has on it. I think it just looks sick. And then obviously we'd put on the tintable headlights just because I thought it looked cool. And then for the hood catches, I wasn't sure where I wanted to go with this, but for some reason I decided to go for the gold latches. And I think it actually looks sick. Black and gold, I think, looks great together. Sorry, red and gold. And I think if you have a red car, you can have it with like bronze wheels too. And I think that looks sick. So we went for the gold catches. And then for the hood, again, I could go fully exposed carbon. And I think this would have looked sick in the red color that we ended up choosing. But I just thought it was too much. I was like, I do like it, but I think it's too much. So what we ended up going for is the one that has the slits in it. I forget what it's called. You can obviously see me here. Debating if I want that. I don't. I want to make it a little bit more simplistic. So we ended up going for the Forged Carbon Performance Hood. This one right here. So that's the one we end up going for. I think it took a while for me to decide this, but I think the decision that was made was perfect. The Forged Performance Hood is the one that we end up going for here. And there we go. Finally, we purchased it. It took me a while. I cut it even in this video. I cut out how long it took for me to decide on that. So the interior of this vehicle, I actually didn't do anything to it. I'll probably go back and change the exterior, or interior, but I didn't do anything. As far as stripes, I actually really liked like that German race stripe on it, but I don't think I ended up going for anything. I just, you know, you could obviously get some of these cool ones, but I genuinely, a lot of the cars I do, I like simplistic, and this car by itself is completely not what you would classify as simplistic, but I don't want to also make it crazy. So So we end up doing forged carbon fiber mirrors. I took a look at these little camera ones, but I just didn't think it looked good in all honesty. So we just went for the forged carbon. Keep that theme going throughout the build. We chose forged carbon, so that's what we're going to stick with. And then we end up doing the respray. Now, again, you'll see here, this is where in my mind, I was like, I kind of want this to be baby blue with white accents. So the first thing by the way, that gray looks sick. See, even now I'm watching this back, I'm like, that gray looks sick. And I obviously thought it there too. And then this red, the formula red, I fell in love with. And at this point, I wasn't even thinking I was going to do it in red. But you can see I was holding over it for a while because I'm like, damn, that looks good. But like I say, I wanted to do baby blue. So I went through the blues. And in all honesty, I just didn't. That was the closest to like baby blue between these two. And I just didn't think the car itself looked good in baby blue. I think once you put on white accents, it may have looked a little bit better. But I was so caught up on that red, the formula red, that I was like, okay, I mean, this is a sick color too, this green. I actually have a car I want to do in that green, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But this formula red, I kept going back to it. I looked through all of the reds here, and then that formula red, man, it just look at that. Yeah, done, purchase. So formula red is the color that we went for this build. Now, next up, let's go on to, what did I do here? Oh, the secondary color. So obviously you can see that's where I was going to do the white with the baby blue, but I just didn't like any of the blues. So I ended up, I think I went for formula red. I did. Look at that. I went through a few other options just to see what it would look like with the black. So it was like black on black, but at the end of the day, we end up going for the formula red. I think it looks sick. And yeah, you can see I'm still going through these. I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm going to skip ahead here when I finally decide that formula red is the color for me. So let's skip ahead to that part. And there we go with the formula red. Go on, make the decision. Make the decision. That's the one. Do it. Do it. There we go. Okay, purchased formula red. It looks sick with the exposed carbon fiber. I think we can all agree it looks sick. So for the trim color again, I didn't end up doing any of the interior stuff. I'll go back to that. That's all personal preference anyway. And then for the fins on the back, I think I went... Is there a dual one? No, there's not. There's not a dual one. I didn't like that. That was the most expensive. I kind of like the shark fins. So I think we ended up doing a forged carbon shark fin. I don't know if it's that one or the bit. That's the one, I think, that we ended up going for. Just even now looking at it, I think that looks better. Yeah, we ended up going for that one. I just like the shark fins. I think they look cool. So then we have the roof. Now, obviously we have the forged carbon, right? But I didn't like that at all. I'm like, that just looks way too much carbon, especially down the frames. And then I saw this and I'm like, okay, that kind of works. And it took me a while going back and forth, debating whether or not I wanted a forged carbon roof or if I wanted to just keep it red, because I think the red looks sick as well. But we ended up going for the forged carbon with the red frame, just as you can see right here. Well, not here, but go on. Make your decision. There we go. This is what we ended up going for, and I think it was the right decision. So the forged inset roof, you can see right there. That's the roof that we have on this build. All right, next up, what do I end up going for? So we've done the roof. Side panel. So the side panel obviously is like the scoops, like the side scoops that you see on these vehicles. And honestly, I was a little hesitant. I was like, do we keep it just red again? Or do we go for the forged carbon fiber? And honestly, in this moment, I can't remember what I ended up going for. I think, yeah, okay, so it was the forged ridged panel is the one. If you want to copy it, that's the one we went for. And then as far as skirts concerned, again, I can't remember at this point what we went for. Okay, we went for the most expensive, secondary forged GT skirt. The reason I went for that is because it also has the red trim on it, just like the front bumper. So it just matched. And then obviously we have the spoiler here. Now I went through them. Some of them looked cool, but the one I ended up going for, I think it was this one. Just look at the side profile. That's what I liked. Some of these look sick, but that in the forged carbon, that side profile is just beautiful. Yep, the forged aggressor wing. That is the one we ended up purchasing. And then sun strips. I ended up going with one that just blended in the most, which is this one here, the negative power metal sun strip. I just think it looks better. The others seem a bit too out there. Obviously, if you're going to copy this, you could do whatever you want here. But I think especially with the power metal in the same similar grays as the carbon, it just worked out better. Suspension, I had mentioned at the beginning, this thing needs to be lowered. So I think I slammed it. Yeah, as far as it was go. We have the race suspension on this thing. Next up, transmission, obviously, race suspension. And then next up, what do we have? Turbo. Yeah, we put a turbo on it. I don't like the sound of turbos on a lot of cars. I feel like people put these on every single car, and I don't like it. Oh, did I not put a turbo on? I don't think I put a turbo on. See what I mean? Like, I don't... Sometimes the turbo doesn't help really that much at all, so I just don't put a turbo on because I don't like the sound of it. I don't think it works on all cars. So that's personal preference. But for wheels, again, this took me a while. This took me a long time to go through. I think I went through all of the wheels, trying to figure out what works best on this car. But let me speed it up here a little bit so we can get to the point where it actually just... the wheels I went for. Okay, so as you can see here, we end up going to high end. And then I think the ones we go for, I can actually remember now, is the... see, I really liked those. I think those look sick. They look like the HRE wheels in real life, which I really like. But no, the wheels we end up going for on this thing is the carbon wheels. Now, the reason I went for those, I think it looked better with darker wheels on this car. Here we go. We went for some carbons. It looks better with darker wheels on this car, but also just having the dark wheels, which are carbon, with the carbon that we have on the car, even though it's not forged carbon, so it kind of looks a little weird, I think it just looks better. So those are the wheels we ended up going for on this car. And I think we actually did put the red trim on this too. We did. We did. You know, out of the carbon wheels, there was another carbon wheel that I kind of skipped past. And I think I forgot about it because I actually feel like I prefer the other carbon set of wheels. I don't know, but I ended up really liking this anyway, so it worked out. We got the red trim on the wheels, the red trim you can see on the front lip and on the side skirts. It just worked out. It just worked out. No custom tires. Did I put... I don't think I put custom tires on it, did I? Maybe I did. I did. Okay. I mean, they do look cool with having tire stickers on it, I guess. Bulletproof tires, obviously. I never really am out in public lobbies anymore, so I don't need all the bombs and stuff that come with these. But yeah, I don't. You don't really need bulletproof tires, to be honest. But anyway, that is our build, ladies and gentlemen. And look at that thing. Oh my days! It surprised me, and a lot of you guys really liked it as well. It's an absolute beast. So let's jump in with this vehicle again right now so I can show you the finished product. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are at our Eclipse 50 car garage, which we've been working on slowly but surely. But this is where our vehicles are stored. I'll explain a little bit of our garage here to you if you are new and this is the first video you're watching of the channel. Something else I wanted to mention for those of you who've been listening to me recently, I've been saying I've been having game issues. It keeps crashing. I've come to terms with the fact that I just think it's the game. I've heard hundreds of comments, if not thousands, from people saying that their game's been crashing. So it's the game. So I'm not worried about it. Just gonna have to wait till there's a patch. Okay, so just as a quick update, my first level here is the limited release cars. So this is where cars, all of these you can't purchase anymore, I don't think. Maybe this green one's still available for another like 3 days, but then it's gonna be gone. These two you can't purchase anymore. They're limited. So I want to fill this entire garage, in all honesty, with just limited release cars. Some people don't like. I did hear TGG make a video talking about this, saying he wasn't a fan of it. I personally am on the fence. I'm kind of on the fence. I understand some people don't have time to jump into a game, so they can't purchase them, and then they've missed out. But then I'm also on the side where it's like, I like limited things. I do like buying things that are limited. It's not just in this game, it's in other games too. If I know that things are only going to be around for a certain amount of time, I like to get them. So anyway, this is my limited release garage. Hopefully we'll get this thing filled all the way up. And then my second level was, in my head, it was a great idea, but it ended up being an awful idea. And if you followed my channel, if you watched any other videos on my channel, I do a lot of Cayo Perico videos. So if you haven't checked those out, go check them out. So I'm like, I'm going to do a Cayo Perico garage. Yeah, this is what it looks like. We got 3 cars. We do also have the supply truck, but that's a Merryweather vehicle, so I can't even store it in here. But either way, it's fine. It's fine. I'm happy with it. It is what it is. And then our level 3, we don't have anything on 4 or 5 yet. Well, to be continued what we're going to be doing with those. But my level 3 garage is my top 10 Benny's vehicles. The vehicles that I like the most in Benny's. And it's all of these right here. These are all Benny's vehicles. This is my top 10 of all my Benny's vehicles, or of all the Benny's vehicles. This is my favorite. I absolutely love the Banshee. I love the way it handles. If you want to see me do the video driving all these, showing you my top 10, that video is on my channel. I'll leave it linked at the end. But this is the car that we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen. This is the one that you've just seen me build. And this is the one that a lot of people were like, bruh, what color is that exactly? What did you do to it? I want to copy it. So that's what this video's been all about. But look at this thing. It's certain times of the day that red looks better. But in this like overcast sky, it doesn't look that great. But look at this car. I mean, it is rightfully so. People wanted to know what I did with this thing because it is just gorgeous. I mean, look at it. This thing is sick. Okay, so driving it drives incredible. Obviously, as you can probably imagine, it is an expensive car. I'll go over the figures here in a second. Braking is actually really good with this vehicle. But just look at it. It is just, it's gorgeous. It's beautiful. All right, so let's pause here. I'm going to stop talking just so we can listen to the sound of it, okay? Let's do a sound check. All right, and there's the sound check. I still don't think it sounds as good as the Banshee. The Banshee sounds... There's just something about the Banshee, man. In my opinion, the Banshee is the best sound. And again, if you want to see me driving the Banshee and showing you what that thing sounds like, go check it out. But... this thing is just beautiful. It is beautiful. It is. And I feel like I didn't really talk about it too much in the video, but the rear wing. See how it goes up and down the faster you go? I mean, it's a really cool detail that I didn't really even talk about much, but it is really cool. All right, let's get this up onto the pier.
Oh my God. Hello.
Oh, hello. I know you're saying hello to my car. Just look at this thing. Okay, I'm starting to get really upset with this game, though, to be honest with you. I'm just trying to turn off the display. And what is this? You made changes, but you did not. I literally haven't made any changes. So I just say no. And then I tried to go into settings. And it says my memory is full. But you can see right here, I've only used 4,900 of 12,200. My video memory is not. But it keeps telling me my video memory is reached the limit and to turn my settings down. What on earth is going on with this game, man? All right, so I've turned the radar off. Let me just see if it does that again. Yeah, what is this? Anyway, I don't want to get into that. And here she is, ladies and gentlemen. I wouldn't say it's my new favorite. Like I say, I'd put this at like number 5 out of my top 5 or top 10 Benny's vehicles. But since I have made it, I do think it's beautiful. I may end up increasing it because it's probably, in all honesty, my number 2 right now. It's grown on me a lot. She's beautiful. So anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoy this car. For those of you who asked for it, I hope that helped out and you were able to build it yourselves. Let me know what your favorite Benny's car is and let me know what your build of this beauty is. Because I honestly, I'm just, like I say, I'm so happy with the way it turned out. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the rest of your day and I will see you tomorrow with a brand new video. Goodbye.